Alright, so for today's eye tutorial, I'm kind of excited because I'm using a brand new product that I've never used before. I was really stupid and I paid way too much and went out and bought the Huda new nude palette. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. It was just... I was actually supposed to be buying a completely different palette and this is what we ended up with. But I mean, just look at it. It's so pretty. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do is we are going to prime our eyelids. Now what this is going to do is it is going to allow our shadow to show up more vibrant than it did back in the early 2000s before we did this step. If you don't have eyeshadow primer, the one I'm going to be using today is this Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. If you don't have eyeshadow primer, put something on there. Use your foundation, use your concealer, use something that'll give you this nice clean slate and it'll be a little bit tacky, that way your shadow can stick to it as well. So just go ahead and apply this all over the lid and the brow bone as well, because that's where we're going to be applying our shadow. Now for this particular brand, I'm using my finger, but sometimes I do use a little sponge to kind of spread it around, even it out. I use it when the primer itself has color the way a foundation would. That way it'll just kind of blend it out into my foundation and you can't see a distinctive line from it. And make sure you have all of your eyeshadow brushes nearby. These are all of my go-to. You don't have to have this many to complete a look. You really don't. These are just the ones that I absolutely love, and I make sure that they are cleaned at all times, and I always use all of these when trying to complete a look. I have a lot more, but these 400 right here are my go-to. Now I have never played in this palette before, so I'm pretty excited. If you're following along and you're using a different palette, we are going to be going for a kind of rose colored scheme here, because the palette I was supposed to get was the Urban Decay Naked 3 and I landed on this one instead. So what we're going to do is, the first color I'm going to pick up will be this color. It's called Play. Now this one should be kind of a neutral color that is going to match my skin tone. Yep, see? And we are just going to put it on up here onto our brow bone. Now whatever in your palette that matches your skin tone, just basically match up your skin tone. This looks like it's going on kind of a peachy color, which works for me, but you know, just adjust accordingly to your skin tone. If you have a darker skin tone, you're going to need to use a darker color. If you have a lighter skin tone, you're going to need to use a lighter color. Just adjust accordingly for you. And we are just going to apply this all over our brow bone here. Now, as you can see, I kind of tap the color on and then brush across it. That way I don't have like gaps or whatever, and it just kind of smooths it all out and makes it even. Now the reason I don't just go straight on in a swiping motion is because I did put on eye primer and it is a little bit tacky. So if you do that, the majority of your product is going to get stuck on one place on your eye and it's going to be really hard to spread that about. It's just so much easier if you tap it into place and then smooth over it. Now this next color that I'm going to pick up is called Bear, and it is much lighter than the one we just applied. So grab a much lighter shade and we are going to apply it up here underneath our eyebrow. Then we're going to pick up this big fluffy eyeshadow brush here and just kind of swoop over them. That way these two kind of blend in together. Alright, so we are going to keep this look super simple today. We're going to pick up the color Lace, and it's just kind of a mauve-y, purplish type color. And we are going to, first we're going to put it all over our lid, and we are going to tap it into our crease as well because we're going to be blending it out. are so pretty. Yes. Now with these shadows, don't be afraid to apply a lot on there, because we're going to be going through and we're going to be blending it out, and that's actually going to take some of your color off. But I mean, as you can see, I've been dipping back into this pan a good bit. Oh my god, this is so pretty. So once you've got that in there, take a fluffy brush. This one I love. It's kind of a small angled fluffy brush, and we are just going to start going back and forth across this and bringing it up some. And what I mean by that is you're going to go back and forth a couple swipes, that way you're getting some of that color on your brush, and then you're going to come up above it a little bit to an area that doesn't have any of that color up there yet, and it's going to drag that subtle amount from your brush up. And then we are also going to drag it out and up on the sides as well. If you need to go back into your pan to get more color, do it. Because like I said, I don't know if you can see it or not, but we're starting to lose a little bit of the color right here, because I mean, that's what's going to happen. Some of your shadow is going to come off as you're blending these things out, and sometimes you just have to add it back in. It's not a big deal. Now we are literally almost done with the top. I told you this one was going to be super simple. I'm going to pick up the shade Daydream here, and you can pick up whatever shimmery color, not matte. What we just applied is a matte flat color. It should not have any shine. So you're going to pick up a shimmery color that is similar to whatever matte you just put on. For me, it's going to be Daydream, and you're going to do it with your finger this time. We're going to use our ring finger, swirl it around in some color there, and just kind of press it into the center of our lid. And then take a fluffy brush, and smooth it across the lid. Blend it around some. If you get some on the bottom like I did, make sure you clean that off. It's going to help distribute some of the shine around your lid, but keep that main concentrated shine in the middle of your lid. All right, now we've come to the point where we are going to do our lower lash line. Now, if you don't usually wear shadow on your lower lash line, you can stop here. It's fine, because this is pretty. So you can either throw on mascara the way it is, or you can skip ahead to the eyeliner portion. But for me, I love putting stuff on the lower lash line as well. So I am going to pick up this pinkish color right here. It's called Tickle. And I'm just going to put that all across the lower lash line. The last thing I'm going to do before moving on to eyeliner is I'm actually going to do my waterline with this ivory color. You can either use that or white. I just really love these colors. I think they just brighten up the eyes and they make it look amazing. Now, if you don't wear stuff on your waterline, that's fine. Skip this step.